It's Loving J, and I'm going to do a video on TSA Pre Check. It's a time saver. So, according to the TSA.gov website, there are 5 Department of Homeland Security trusted traveler programs that offer expedited U.S. air travel and international border crossing. There's TSA Pre Check. There is Global Entry. There is the Nexus program. I'm going to say it wrong. SENTRI and FAST. So the ones that I am familiar with is TSA Pre Check, Global Entry, and Nexus. So TSA Pre Check, basically ideal for domestic air travel. TSA Pre Check saves you time and stress through security as you don't need to remove shoes, laptops, liquids, belts, and light jackets. Typical enrollment takes about 2 to 3 weeks. The cost is $85 for a 5-year membership. And of course, required documents: unexpired U.S. government issued photo ID and proof of citizenship, such as a passport or driver's license and birth certificate. So I actually got the global entry, but I'll explain that in a second. So basically, if you do a lot of traveling domestically, TSA Pre-Check allows you to go to the short line instead of waiting in line. So say, for example, if you know that you have a flight at 2 o'clock and usually you have to be there, an hour to an hour and a half early, TSA Pre-Check would say, okay, well, there's only a 20-minute waiting for you to get through the TSA Pre-Check line. So you take your TSA Pre-Check card and you show it to the TSA officer with your ticket, and you take your laptop out. You don't have to take off your shoes or your belt. You walk through the metal detector and you go on about your life. It saves time. If you're in a hurry or in a rush, or if you're late, it really saves you, versus you having to wait in a line to take off everything that you have on that's metal, your shoes, whatever's metal, your laptop, all that good stuff. You got to take that off, go through the line, or wait in the line, take all that stuff off, then go through the TSA people, then go through the metal detector, and hope to God that nothing that you had on you or in your bag sets off, right? So who should get a TSA Pre-Check? In my opinion, again, if you do domestic traveling back and forth, pay for the $85. It saves you money. You just have to flash that, or not flash it, but show it to the TSA guard, and it's really easy. It's very, very easy. The process is you submit, go to TSA.gov, you submit for a background check. Usually that takes about a week or so. Then once that background check comes back, that's passed, then you go for an interview. And the interview actually is not always at the airport. Sometimes they have different places. I went to Atlanta, and it's a quick interview to ask you questions, make sure that you're not doing anything that you should be doing. They take your fingerprints, and then you get mailed your TSA Pre-Check card. So when you go to the airport, you're good. I got Global Entry, which was an additional $15. It's the same process. The reason that I got the Global Entry, you know what I'm trying to say, the Global Entry Pass, is because I go to Canada a lot. So when I want to leave to go to Canada, that's international. So when I'm exiting the country, going across the border, I can use that Global Entry Pass and go through faster. So it's TSA plus international, and it's an additional $15. Nexus is simply for people who go back and forth to Canada and the United States, and that is only $50. And let's see, it's Ideal for frequent travel between the U.S. and Canada. Self-report customs forms when entering U.S. or Canada via air. Greatly reduces typical time spent in the U.S. and Canadian processing, excuse me. Expedited processing into U.S. and Canada by vehicle. Includes TSA Pre Check. So basically, if you go across the border to Canada and Mexico frequently, go to the Nexus. The only thing about the Nexus is that you have to go to close to the border in order to have the interview. So you have to submit the request, then go do an interview. And if you don't live like New York or Washington State or in Canada somewhere or close to the Canadian border, the U.S. Canadian border, then it's going to be hard for you to get one. And you can use your Nexus for land or air, and I believe you can use it for both too. Check to see if your credit card pays for it. Sometimes they'll give you a credit. Like I have an Amex card, and they give me a credit for 5 years, or one time for 5 years to pay for it. I just went ahead and paid the $15 difference because I got the global entry. I love it. I would recommend that everybody gets it. It's really cool. It's a lot less waiting. You don't have to worry about lines, taking off your belt, taking off your shoes. Yeah, it's worth it. And TSA domestic, global entry is TSA plus international. Nexus includes TSA, but does not include other international flights. If it's not Canada, then you won't be able to use it. Makes sense? Nexus is only for Canada and Mexico. Global entry is everywhere outside of the United States. Hope that helps. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out. Remember, you are loved and you are needed. Let me know. Have a good one.